Hey and welcome back to the channel. I'm Amani Forrester, author of the book 30 Reasons Why Men Deserve Nothing. It's available right now on Amazon and it's free to read if you have Kindle Unlimited. We also have a Patreon now for videos and deep dives that might be a little too much for YouTube. Links are in the description. Also, I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but many of you are being unsubscribed without your knowledge or consent, so please make sure to check that you're still subscribed and hit the bell notification so you never miss a video. Hey y'all, it's Amani here, and I just found a really interesting article from the Pew Research Center. It was published on November 14th, so 2 days ago, but for some reason, the research was conducted in 2023, but for some reason, it was only just published in, the research was conducted in 2023, but for some reason it was just recently published. So let's get into it. So the article is by Dana Braga, and it's entitled 12th grade girls are less likely than boys to say that they want to get married someday. So US high schoolers are less likely now than in the past to say that they want to get married someday, and a smaller share today say that they're very likely to have children if they do get married. And again, this is according to the Pew Research Center analysis of survey data from the University of Michigan. And you can see the figures right here. It says as of 2023, 67% of the nation's 12th graders say that they'll likely choose to get married someday, and that's down from 80% in 1993. Another 24% say that they don't know if they'll get married, and that's up from 16%. The share saying they don't plan on getting married someday is largely unchanged. The survey also asked 12th graders how likely they are to do certain things if they do get married. The survey also asked 12th graders how likely they are to do certain things if they do get married. A smaller share of 12th graders now than in 1993 say that they're very likely to stay married to the same person for life if they do tie the knot. About half, 51%, say this, compared with 59% in 1993, and the share of 12th graders who say that they're very likely to want to have kids in the situation has also decreased over this time span, and that's 48% in 2023 versus 64% in 1993. The drop in the share of 12th graders who now say that they want to get married reflects shifting views among girls, and I figured this. Boys are more likely than girls to say that they want to get married someday, and that's 71% of boys want to get married versus 61% of girls. And the article is basically saying this hasn't always been the case. In 1993, it was a larger share of girls. It was 83% of girls wanted to be married than boys, and that was only 76% who said that they wanted to get married. So the share of boys saying this is virtually unchanged over the 30-year period. Like, it's the girls. It's the girls who have dropped by 22 percent points. And the article ends by saying there are no statistically significant gender gaps in the other questions. So I just want to know what y'all think about this information. Personally, I think that the world is changing and healing. I think that more young girls are listening to their moms, probably witnessing what their mothers are dealing with and their relationships. Maybe they're listening to their grandmothers. Maybe their grandmothers have also, warned them about this whole myth of being the married woman and the mother, and how that's not the most fulfilling thing in the world for every woman. Maybe they're on social media, and they're seeing the way that these husbands and boyfriends treat their partners, and they don't want any part of that. Maybe they're just more interested in pursuing their own goals and dreams and creating relationships and community in ways that look different than living with a man and serving under that man. I also think it's the rise in inceldom and the red pill. Like, there's a lot of young boys who are being indoctrinated by older manosphere, bitter men, and they're treating the girls in their classrooms and stuff horribly. And they're becoming worse people. So maybe they don't want anything to do with a group of people who are entitled, violent, mean, gross. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's very interesting. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this information and why you think young girls who are grade 12 is what, like 18, 17, 18 are saying no thanks. I don't think I want to be married. I don't think I want to have children if I do get married. Why do you think that more and more of them are straying away from these traditional roles? And then why do you think that more males are running towards, the idea of marriage and fatherhood when they're the ones who used to claim that they weren't interested, Anyway, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.